They got a smoothie for everything. They have smoothie for art gallery owners.
They got smoothies for kings.
What would a smoothie that was specifically catered to the life of a gallery owner, what would be in that smoothie, Gabe?
Anxiety.
You would put anxiety in the smoothie?
We were asking. Oh,
no,
is this to help?
It's to help.
Oh, okay. Got it. To help.
No, it's something that you would get delivered to Mortal Machine the morning before the gallery opened.
Extra large cup stuff filled with American Express black credit cards.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Because then I could just go get a different kind of smoothie.
Right.
And that smoothie would be incredible no matter what it is.
So, okay. So the gallery owner just needs money. Yeah.
Well, that's not true. I was thinking about it. There's like three things you need. You need money, nonstop supply of money that never stops coming. You need ideas; those help. You know, FYI, might be cool if you know how to think. And then the third thing is probably, I would say, some form of insane willingness to keep showing up every day.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people, like, you know, after a few months, like, oh, they think they like did something.
Like with their idea?
Or just like doing shows, showing up every day to talk about art, like do that for years and years and years and years. It's like a Groundhog Day scenario.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think there's, you know, people burn out.
Yeah. And so, okay, people burn out with almost the potential for burnout is present.
I guess that could be for anything.
For most endeavors.
Yeah, that's true.
But I like where we're going with this because I want to know more about what it's like day to day to be in the mind of someone, aka you, who is running a gallery like Mortal Machine. Because people, no matter what the business is that you start, burnout is potential. But what makes
it's inevitable?
What makes running a gallery different from other businesses?
I don't know, because I haven't really run any other kind of business before. I haven't been a civilian in over 20 years.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what civilian businesses are like to run. Never know. Might get bored and might do that. But I doubt it. But to run this is, I think, like, I mean, this is essentially a retail business. So if we're going to like boil it down to its basics, an art gallery is a form of retail. So there are, I think, like different forms of like perennial concepts that work in retail spaces that also operate in art galleries for sure. And I do have a background in retail. I have worked in retail. And I did manage a head shop when I was like 25 for a year in Cleveland. I don't know if that counts. Art gallery ownership resume or not, but you know, but it was a day-to-day dealing with customers, dealing with, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, I think that like having some kind of understanding of retail is helpful, but there's a lot more that goes into art than that, obviously.
Well, like running a business is an art. And when you, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Totally.
So running a business is an art. And so when you are running an arts-based business, and we're surrounded by art right now that you are selling, that you have decided to sell in your gallery, and that is like that decision making itself is an art.
Yeah, I guess so. I like to solve problems, and I like to do things. I guess that the main thing is just figuring out a system of rituals that are like daily, weekly, monthly things that you can do that can kind of keep you functional in a way that doesn't feel like you're grinding your gears. And so, you know, I'm always trying to find ways to keep the meat happy, you know.
Keep the meat happy?
Yeah. Keep the thing that I'm inside, you know, I'm this body
Yes.
that I'm
Okay.
stuck inside of. Just keep it like functional in a way that I can be productive with what it is that I'm doing. And because working with this many ideas, working with this many creatives, having this many conversations all the time, over and over and over and over and over and over again, unless most people would go crazy. So you have to find things. It's the gym, it's the dogs, it's the way that you make your coffee, it's the things you do in the morning, it's the things you do before you begin your shift, it's your rituals that kind of keep you intact.
And that's why it's problematic whenever the business gets in the way of those rituals and then a backup starts happening, right? Where it's like, oh, I haven't done my rituals that take my mind and make me better at the business because I'm doing more in the business. So then it's like suddenly the train is just sideways.
Something like that. But then I sort of can anticipate. I mean, when there's something like what happened with 938 here with the leaks, like you can't anticipate when you wake up at 6:30 in the morning and all of a sudden, the back half of your retail space is raining from the ceiling. Like that's not something you can really anticipate with. So therefore, you just have, but if you do have a system of healthy things that you do on a regular basis, it does, I think, in all probability, make your problem solving skills and your stress management a little more cohesive when you do encounter situations like that. And then when you encounter things where that things are going to be super crazy and busy, now I sort of anticipate them. So I'll be like, okay, well, it's going to be a big, deep, long installation week. Okay, well, then maybe over the next week or so, I take an extra day off because I know that I'm going to lose a day. And, I know that I've got my birthday on the one day, so I'm going to be hungover on Monday in all probability. So I'm already anticipating. I guess because I live fairly inside of this thing itself and I'm not distracted by a lot of other stuff like kids, households, girlfriends, wives, partners, I'm fairly within this zone. I'm able to already anticipate things ahead of time and adjust and prepare for them so that I can do my best when the time comes to do my job.
Okay, so earlier you referenced a civilian job and that you said you're not going to do that, but then you were like, well, maybe I would. I don't know. Which I like how I feel like you are always so open-minded about everything. Like I mean that in a complimentary way, not in a like indecisive way.
No, I get it.
So wait, just for fun, you indulge me and indulge your podcast producer for a moment. What are the 5 jobs that you would consider having if you had to have like a regular non-gallery
civilian
job?
Again?
Yeah. Don't think too much.
Bartender.
Yes.
I'd work with dogs at like a dog shelter.
Yes.
I would work in a comic book store.
Yes.
I would cook.
Yes. Ooh, at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Personal chef.
Yeah, just cook.
Okay.
Yeah. Grill most. I'd like to grill.
Okay.
And then I would work in ecotourism.
Ooh.
Just like talk to people and take them places and tell them stories about things.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very charming list, Gabe.
Stuff like that. These are you're saying non-creative, meaning non-art industries related stuff.
Yeah, well, but we discuss often on this podcast how many things actually are art. So, I think if we had a chef, a bartender, a tour guide, they would all say those things are arts based.
I don't anticipate myself ever actually doing any of those things, though.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Of course.
I don't know that I really see that.
Yeah.
I could moonlight for a day or two.
Yeah.
But then, every time I get out, it pulls me back in. I just don't really see that.
Well, I want to get back into this idea that running, I also believe that running a business is an art. Entrepreneurship is an art. And I think the people who are doing it the wrong way probably don't look at it as an art. But I also don't think looking at it as an art means you will be successful. Because I think a lot of people have this my business is my baby type of mentality, which I think can be really hard. I think running your business, like treating it like an art form, treating it like an art that you are forever curious about, I think probably really serves you in the long run. Because you're probably still curious about painting. You're still curious about writing. You know, you're working on some writing projects right now, and seems detrimental to be like, I already know everything there is to know about this. It's like, okay, well then what's the point of creating it?
Yeah, no, that's not how that works. Yeah, well, it's like a Sherlock Holmes situation. It's a mystery that you're like solving, you know, a painting, a story, a show, a business, you know, your life. It's you don't really know from day to day. You have a sense of a path, but you don't really know, you know, you get to experience it. And sometimes, like, I think one of the things that separates me from a lot of other business owners, especially in, well, although in the art industry, I don't know, because I meet more and more people that own galleries or are involved in the art industry that do paint or have painted or do some form of, you know, a studio discipline. But I think that being an artist has simultaneously been one of the advantages and one of the disadvantages that to owning a business. Because on the one hand, there's this certain like justified irresponsibility that comes along with being an artist, that you're just like, oh, I don't have to think about that, I'm an artist. Or I don't want to think about that, I just want to make art. I hear that a lot from a lot of people, and that's cool. A child doesn't want to have to get up and go to school every day. You know, I don't want to have to get out of bed sometimes, but you know what? Like these are things that adults do. And so I think that, you know, I find that a lot with I think that a lot for a number of years, I kept saying, oh, well, somebody else will think about that, or I don't want to be the one to think about that. And you come to learn that if you aren't the motherfucker that thinks about that, or if you don't think about it enough that you know enough about it so that whoever you have doing it, you can tell whether they're doing a qualified job at it or not. And you can, you know, make the decisions that are necessary to try to continue to improve your business's health. You know, but that also is similar to the studio though, because the studio has so much to do with like the mistakes in the studio. And also on top of that, it's like years and years and years. That's one of the things that I love so much about painting and also now writing again, is that there's so many years of cumulative processes materially and also idea wise now, that when I'm actually making shit, it's like, oh, this thing that I used to do like 15 years ago with this thing that I started doing 6 years ago with this thing I just started messing with the last year, all now makes sense cohesively together for the way I'm doing this one thing now. And so, you know, I don't have that much experience yet when it comes to the business stuff. I've only been curating for about a decade. Mortal's 6 to 7 years old. I don't really think that I started really putting my hand on the wheel of owning and running this business until a few years ago, because I had other people that either in name were involved or were theoretically involved or were involved for a while, for the first few years. So, you know, I think as a business person, I'm still very young, but I know how to make money. And there's a difference between knowing how to create money and knowing how to run a business. Those are two completely different things.
So do you think that, okay, so going for human years, dog years, I'm in that metaphor land. What is like, how many business years equals a human year? Like, is there a different scale or is it the same thing?
What do you mean?
Well, because, okay, so
how many years does owning a business age you every year?
Or
So I could tell you that.
That's yeah, I get that.
It doesn't, I tell you this, owning a business ages you more than being married.
More?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
So what about running a business with someone you're married to?
I'd probably kill myself.
Like 5x?
I don't want to do that.
10x?
Think about that. My God.
Okay, well, here's my point though.
My God.
I read something recently that
We're talking about an art gallery, though. Maybe other businesses are different.
Sure. I read something recently that was like, oh, the first half of your life, The first 40 years of your life is about adding things. You're adding experiences, partners, whatever. You're just adding. Happiness is adding. And the second half of your life is subtracting. The more you take away the second half of your life, the happier you are, which is a direct conflict with the first half of your life. And that the second half of your life, which is allegedly, and I think most people would say it is, but is allegedly way better than the first half of your life.
That's refreshing.
And it's refreshing. I mean, I can see that. I feel that. I'm 45. You're 50.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that. What I really feel, though, what really deeply resonates with me is this act of subtracting. Like, I am definitely finding the less that I do, the happier I am. Like, I'm really narrowing focus. So my point is, with regards to running a business, like it's impossible to say the first half of a business, second half of a business, but I'm wondering if you're reaching the point with this gallery where you're in the second half of the business or the second half of life, or maybe it's a second chance, or whatever, however you want to frame it.
We're simplifying it.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like, and there's an art to simplifying it, and there's a happiness in simplifying